I walked in after a graveyard shift craving stillness. The kind of quiet that sinks deep after 12 hours of buzzing lights, stale coffee, and machines that never pause. My legs were sore, my mind dull, and all I wanted was to see Maya asleep on the couch the way she sometimes did. Normal. Familiar. Instead, the first thing that caught my attention was the glow. The kitchen lights were blazing. That alone made me hesitate. Maya hated harsh light in the morning. She used to joke that it made the house feel accusatory. I remembered laughing about that once as I slipped my key into the lock, careful not to make noise. I set my keys down gently, toed off my work boots, still half trapped in hospital mode. Then I heard it, laughter. Not drowsy or muted, but loud, careless, alive. My chest tightened before my brain caught up. A sweet smell drifted through the air. The good kind. I recognized the bottle instantly because I'd hidden it away for a date I was planning next month. Cork was out. The bottle was already half empty. Then I saw them. Maya was sitting on the kitchen counter, not properly seated but balanced, one knee bent, the other leg dangling. A man stood between her knees, his hands resting on her legs with a familiarity that didn't belong to him. When she noticed me, her face drained of color so fast it was almost frightening. For a heartbeat, none of us moved. It felt like I'd stepped into the wrong house, the wrong life. She spoke first. "Ethan, you weren't supposed to come home yet." That was it. No apology. No denial. Just a scheduling error. Something inside me shut off. I didn't feel rage. Felt hollow. The man turned around slowly, irritation flickering across his face as if I were the inconvenience. He was about my height, neatly dressed, wearing a jacket I recognized because I'd seen it hanging in our hallway before. Suddenly, everything made sense. The late nights, the sudden girls' plans, the way Maya stopped asking about my shifts. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't lunge. I pulled my phone from my pocket. Her reaction was immediate. "What are you doing?" she snapped, hopping down so fast she almost lost her balance. The man stepped back, palms raised, suddenly unsure. "I'm recording," I said. My voice sounded calm, distant, like it belonged to someone else. "Just so I don't misremember this later." She exploded. "Are you out of your mind? Put that away. You can't do that." She reached for my phone. I stepped back. My heart was racing, but my hands didn't shake. That scared her more than anything. "Ethan, please," she said, her voice breaking. It wasn't remorse I heard. It was panic. The man cleared his throat. "Look, this is getting intense." I didn't know. Didn't know what? I asked, finally meeting his eyes. "That she lives with me. That we're engaged. Or that I paid for this kitchen you're standing in." He looked at Maya. She stared at the floor. I let out a short, bitter laugh. "You know what's ironic? I just finished a night shift to help pay for a wedding you apparently cancelled without telling me." That's when she started crying. Loud, messy tears. She said it was a mistake. She said she didn't mean to fall for him. She said I was never home, always exhausted, that she felt invisible. Invisible. I thought about the ring hidden in my drawer. The guest list. Plans. The future I was dragging myself half awake to build. I stopped recording and lowered my phone. I looked at her one last time. "Pack your things," I said quietly. "One of us is leaving tonight." Her eyes widened. "You can't just." "I can," I replied. "And I am." The other guy shifted, suddenly very aware that he didn't belong anywhere near this moment. I walked down the hallway. Each step felt heavier than the last. Behind me, Maya called my name, not with love but with fear. I didn't turn around. I drove for nearly an hour without knowing where I was going. Dawn was creeping in, painting the sky that honest gray blue that makes everything feel exposed. My grip on the steering wheel was tight, but my mind was strangely calm. No spiraling thoughts. Just the certainty that something final had ended. I pulled over at a small overlook, shut off the engine, and sat there listening to it cool. My phone buzzed again and again. Her name lit up the screen like a challenge. I didn't answer. not out of spite, but because I knew any conversation would be about calming her fear, not acknowledging her betrayal. I watched the video once. Just once. Not to hurt myself, but to anchor myself in reality. To make sure time didn't soften it. There it was, her voice saying, "You weren't supposed to see this." By sunrise I'd decided. I went to my brother's place. He took one look at me, handed me a mug of coffee and said, "Stay as long as you want. No questions." Later that day, she finally sent a text instead of calling. "Please, we need to talk. I made a mistake." I stared at it for a long time before replying. I saw everything. There's nothing left to explain. No insults. No essays. Silence used correctly is powerful. The following week was quietly brutal. Canceling deposits. Calling family. Watching the future I'd planned evaporate in awkward pauses and sympathetic voices. When people asked what happened, I kept it simple. She broke my trust. The ones who mattered didn't ask for details. What surprised me wasn't just the pain. It was the relief beneath it. I hadn't realized how much of myself I'd been shrinking to keep things smooth. How often I ignored my instincts because commitment is supposed to mean endurance. Endurance without respect, I learned, is just erasing yourself. She reached out again, this time angry. Accusing me of abandonment. Saying recording her was cruel. That's when it fully clicked. She wasn't upset about what she did. She was furious that I didn't shield her from the fallout. I blocked her number. Weeks passed. Sleep came back. I started going to the gym after work, not to punish myself but to feel grounded. Quiet evenings stopped feeling empty and started feeling peaceful. Breathing felt easier without the constant sense that something was wrong at home. One night, while unpacking the last box in my new apartment, I found the ring. I held it for a long time, then placed it back in the box. Not with anger but with gratitude. It had taught me an expensive lesson, but a necessary one. Love isn't proven by how much disrespect you're willing to endure. It's proven by the boundaries you're willing to enforce when it matters most.